Hello everyone, welcome all of you in a Team Divane IS and GATE channel. Already you have given a test on machine design. So today we are going to see the solutions of question number 1 to 15 of machine design test. So question number 1, the maximum distortion energy theory of failure is suitable to predict the failure of which of the following types of material. So first option is brittle material, second option is ductile material, plastic and composite materials. So criteria used to predict the failure of a ductile materials are usually called yield criteria, and commonly used failure criteria for ductile materials are nothing but Tresca or maximum shear stress criteria. The von Mises stress, von Mises yield criteria, or we can say distortion strain energy density criteria. So from that we can choose a ductile material is the right answer. Or you can say here in a solution maximum distortion energy theory, also known as von Mises theory. Okay, and maximum distortion energy theory of failure is suitable to predict the failures of ductile material. So correct answer is ductile material, option B. Next question. In question number second, we have to match the list 1 with the list 2. So for worm gear, and this question is directly coming from the gears, as question number 1 is from theories of failure, the question number 2 is from gears. For gears, worm gear, we know for worm gear to transit the power between two non-intersecting shafts which are perpendicular to each other. So for worm gear, the option A matches with second, to transmit the power between two non-intersecting shafts which are perpendicular to each other. Spur gear, we already know for spur gear to transmit a power when shafts are parallel. Only one condition for spur gear, and I think option number shafts are parallel, C, to transmit power when the shafts are parallel. So spur gear matches with the 3. And herringbone gear, here it is herringbone gear. For herringbone gear, impose no thrust load on the shaft. That is important criteria for herringbone gear. Imposes no thrust load on the shaft. And spiral bevel gear, already all of you know that spiral bevel gear transmit power when shafts are right angles to each other. In case of differential, have you studied about the differential, then easily understood. The spiral bevel gear is used to transmit a power when shafts are at a right angles to one another. So correct option is nothing but option B. Option B is matches correctly. You can check there. Now question number 3, the crowning of the flat pulley is related to generally done generally done to reduce the belt friction, to prevent the belt joint from the damaging the flat surfaces, to prevent the belt from running off the pulleys in case of cross belt drive only. Now see, this question is from the belt and pulley, and they ask the crowning. So for a crowning, in a solution, look at here. Due to the slip, it is observed that belt is running off the pulley. To prevent it crowning, the process by which belt remains in its position. The crown pulley is a pulley that has a slight hump in the middle, tapering off ever so slightly towards either edge. So क्राउनिंग बेसिकली इसलिए होता है कि टू प्रिवेंट द बेल्ट फ्रॉम रनिंग ऑफ द पुलिस, वो प्रिवेंट करने के लिए क्राउनिंग का टर्म हम यूज़ करते हैं. तो करेक्टली ऑप्शन मैच रहता है यहाँ पे, टू प्रिवेंट द बेल्ट फ्रॉम द रनिंग ऑफ द पुली. ये थेरी क्वेश्चन है, तो आप क्राउनिंग का डेफिनेशन पढ़ सकते हो, और करेक्ट ऑप्शन यहाँ पे सी मैच होगा. नाउ यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 यहाँ पे दिखाई दे रहा है कि कैलकुलेट द इफिशियंसी ऑफ द सर्कमफेरेंशियल जॉइंट if pitch of the rivets is a 60 mm and the diameter of the rivet is 22 mm. तो ये क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली आस्क किया है कि रिवेट से आता है, रिवेट का डायमीटर ऑफ रिवेट दिया हुआ है और पिच ऑफ द रिवेट भी दिया हुआ है. तो हमें इफिशियंसी पूछा है, तो इफिशियंसी कैसे निकालेंगे. इफिशियंसी ऑफ सर्कमफेरेंशियल जॉइंट इज गिवन बाय 1 minus d by p, where d is your diameter of the rivet and p is nothing but pitch. Just put the value 1 minus 22 by 60, all the given data d and p, you will get 63.33. that is nothing but option number B. Next question. Now for question number 5th, the anti-friction bearings The options are given as a have low starting and low running friction at a moderate speed. Now look at, for anti-friction bearing means there is a very less friction. So we can say friction is negligible in that cases of bearings. So have low starting and low running friction at moderate speed. Yes, correct. Have a high initial cost. Yes, these bearings are usually costly, more costly. So we can say initial cost of that bearings are high. Can carry both thrust and radial loads. So these bearings are used for carrying both, we can say, thrust as well as radial loads. Yes, definitely C option is also correct. So we can say that all of the above options are correct. Yes, here it is in solution also given. Anti-friction bearings are those bearings which are said to have no or very less friction during their operation. Okay, and initial cost is usually very high and have a less shock capacity. These bearings can support both radial thrust loads except straight roller bearing. So A, B, C all are matches. So we can write here all of the options are correct. Now next question, question number 6. What is the main advantage of hydrodynamic bearing over roller bearing? So what is main advantage of hydrodynamic bearing over roller bearing? Look at here, for हाइड्रोडायनामिक बेयरिंग व्हाट विल हैपन, हाइड्रोडायनामिक प्रेशर जो भी रहता है उस बेयरिंग में, उस प्रेशर की वजह से जो आपका उस वो प्रेशर क्यों क्रिएट होता है, वो प्रेशर हाइड्रोडायनामिक प्रेशर इसलिए क्रिएट होता है कि ताकि उसमें जो फिल्म रहता है उसकी वजह से हाइड्रोडायनामिक प्रेशर क्रिएट होता है. और वो हाइड्रोडायनामिक प्रेशर आपका कैरी क्या कर सकता है, वेरी हाई लोड कैरी करना कर सकता है एट अ हाई स्पीड पे. सो जो भी आपका हाइड्रोडायनामिक प्रेशर क्रिएट हो रहा है किसकी वजह से, जो फिल्म होता है उसकी वजह से, और उसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है कि आपका लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी एट हाई स्पीड, टेंडेंसी टू कैरिंग लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी एट अ वेरी हाई स्पीड, ये उसका मेन एडवांटेज है हाइड्रोडायनामिक बेयरिंग का. तो यहाँ पे ऑप्शन हमें दिख रहा है कि इजी टू असेंबल, रिलेटिव टू लो प्राइस, और यहाँ पे ऑप्शन नंबर सी हमको मिल रहा है कि सुपीरियर लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी एट हाइयर स्पीड. सो ऑप्शन नंबर सी इज करेक्ट. सो इट विल carry a load capacity at higher speed. So option C is the correct. Now question number 7. When the frictional force helps to apply the brake, then brake is said to be. So what is that brake? So look at here in a solution. In this case, the moment due to the actuating force and friction force acts in the same direction. So what is that? When frictional force helps to apply the brake, means that is nothing but your self-energizing. There are two main concepts here, self-energizing and self-locking. In case of self-energizing, frictional force वहाँ पे आपको ध्यान में रखना है कि moment due to the actuating force and friction force both are acting in the same direction, and then only we can say it is a self-energizing. So option A is the correct option. Now question number 8, and question number 8 is from the clutch. Okay. In the multiple disc clutch, there are 8 discs on the driving shaft and 7 discs on the driven shaft. Calculate number of pairs of a contact surfaces. So particularly it is a question taken from a clutch, and number of active plates, here they are asking the pairs of contact surfaces. So for particular we have the formula for that. If you know the formula, then you easily calculate that value. N1 plus N2 minus 1, it is the formula. What is N1? N1 is the number of frictional surface on a driving shaft, and N2 is the number of contact surface on a driven shaft. So both values are given, 8 plus 7 minus 1. So you will get 14, and option number C is the right option for that. Now question number 9th. In question number 9th, which of the following is the desirable property of the belt material? And this question is from belt topic. Belt material should have a high coefficient of friction with the pulleys. Yes, definitely it has to be high coefficient of friction. B option, look at the B option. The belt material should have high tensile strength to withstand the belt tension. Yes, definitely it should have high tensile strength so that it can withstand the belt tensions. That is also correct. The belt material should have high wear resistance. Yes, definitely. So we can say all of the options are correct. And one more important property that should have a belt material, that is nothing but high flexibility. Yes, your belt material should have high flexible and low rigidity. What is the importance of low rigidity? During the bending, what will happen? it will avoid the bending stresses while passing over the pulleys. Yes, because of having a low rigidity only. So we can select here all of the options are correct. The ratio of question number 10, the ratio of the leg of weld and thickness of plate in double parallel fillet weld. So this question is from the fillet. So they ask, so look at the question, read carefully. Double parallel fillet is asking what is the ratio of leg weld to the thickness of the plate. So simple one formula is there. Leg of the weld is equal to 0.707 times thickness of the plate. If they ask for the double parallel fillet, so you can multiply by 2 and you can easily calculate h by t from here. So h by t is nothing but 1.414 and option number C is the correct option for question number 10. Very easy question. Now question number 11. And again question number 11 is from the theories of failures. What they ask, the predicted ratio of a shear stress to direct stress at a yield condition for a steel specimen under maximum energy of distortion theory is. So if you look out the maximum distortion energy theory, then you have to calculate the theories of failure and direct shear stress to the direct stress at a yield condition means SYS to the SYT. And for maximum, you know, the maximum shear stress, its ratio is half, that is nothing but 0.5. If you think about maximum distortion energy theory, and for maximum distortion energy theory the ratio is 1 by root 3. And what is the correct option for 1 by root 3? 0.577, and it is in option, yes, option D is right for 0.577 or 1 by root 3. If you look for a maximum principal stress theory, this ratio is 1, and maximum principal strength theory, this ratio is 0.77. So for correct option, what they ask for distortion energy theory, 1 by root 3, that is option number D, 0.577. This is for additional information. Now question number 12. For question number 12, closely coiled spring of a 20 centimeter mean diameter is having 25 coil of a 2 centimeter diameter. Modulus of rigidity of the material is 10⁷ Newton per centimeter square. Stiffness of the spring is, what they ask, stiffness of the springs. So question is from the springs module, and stiffness of the spring, that is nothing but K is equal to load per unit deflection. And what is the deflection? Delta is nothing but 8 p d cube n divided by GD⁴. Okay, so if you calculate K is equal to P by delta, then PP will get cancelled. What is remaining? GD⁴ divided by 8 d cube n. Okay, or you can write GD⁴ divided by 64 r cube n. Okay, in terms of radius, either you can write in terms of diameter or in terms of radius. So just put the value here. Stiffness of the spring, for calculation of stiffness, K is equal to load per unit deflection, and GD⁴ divided by 8 d cube n is the formula. Here G, modulus of rigidity 10⁷, diameter of the coil is 2 centimeter, so 2⁴, 8 into d cube. What is D? Here mean coil diameter is 25, so 25, sorry, coil spring mean diameter is 20 and number of coils are 25, so 20 cube into 25, you will get answer in 100 Newton per centimeter, and options are frame in centimeter, so Newton per centimeter. Load per unit deflection is measured in terms of centimeter, so Newton per centimeter is the right answer, so option number C is the correct. Again question number is 13. The wall stress factor K for a spring of spring index is usually denoted by D by D. C is equal to D by D. Capital D is nothing but your mean coil diameter. As previous question we have already seen that, and D is the wire diameter or coil diameter, is given by. So wall stress factor is पूछा है directly. तो ऑप्शन देखो क्या रहता है वॉल स्ट्रेस फैक्टर 4C - 1 डिवाइड बाय 4C - 4 प्लस 0.615 बाय C. ये डायरेक्टली फॉर्मूला बेस्ड क्वेश्चन था, आपको ऑप्शन पिक करना था, ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट फॉर दैट. नाउ क्वेश्चन नंबर 14. A machine component is subjected to variable loading such that amplitude stress mean stress, endurance limit stress, ultimate strength and yield strength are 90 megapascal, 150 megapascal, 270 megapascal, 600 megapascal, 450 megapascal respectively. Find the factor of safety using the Soderberg line. So here we know the two criteria, Soderberg line and Goodman line. So Soderberg line से पूछा है, according to the Soderberg line, sigma A by sigma E plus sigma M by sigma yt is equal to 1 by n. This is for Soderberg. And if they ask for Goodman, just little bit change, sigma m divided by sigma sut, अल्टीमेट स्ट्रेंथ वहाँ पे आपको लेना है. तो यहाँ पे दोनों भी वैल्यूज दिया हुआ है, तो आपको केयरफुली पिक करना है कि सोडरबर्ग पूछा है या गुडमैन पूछा है. तो सोडरबर्ग पूछा है तो इसलिए सिग्मा वाई लेना है हमें, नॉट सिग्मा यूटी लेना है. ओके, तो सिग्मा ए का वैल्यू दिया है 90 मेगा पास्कल, देन सिग्मा एम दैट इज नथिंग बट मीन स्ट्रेस 150 मेगा पास्कल एंड सिग्मा एंड्योरेंस लिमिट 270 दिया है. सिग्मा एस वाई टी अल्टीमेट स्ट्रेंथ नहीं लेना है, सिग्मा यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ लेना है 90. सिग्मा यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ कितना दिया है 450 मेगा पास्कल दिया है. तो जो भी वैल्यूज है आप पुट करो, आपको एन का वैल्यू मिलेगा 1.5. सो करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन नंबर बी. नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. सो क्वेश्चन नंबर 15 which is solid circular shaft of a diameter 60 mm transmits a torque of 1500 Newton meter. The value of maximum shear stress develop is, और मेगा पास्कल में पूछा है, चारों ऑप्शन मेगा पास्कल में है. तो शेयर स्ट्रेस डेवलप इन सॉलिड सर्कुलर शाफ्ट के ऊपर का क्वेश्चन था. तो टाउ शेयर स्ट्रेस इज नथिंग बट 60 mt डिवाइड बाय पाई डी एस क्यूब, वेयर डी एस इज द डायमीटर ऑफ द शाफ्ट, टी इज द टॉर्क 16 mt. ओके, तो आप यहाँ पे टॉर्क का वैल्यू पुट कर सकते हो 16 इंटू 1500 इंटू 10⁻³ कर दो आप यहाँ पे. आपको mm में चाहिए, मेगा पास्कल में चाहिए तो आप 10⁻³ कर दो, डिवाइडेड बाय पाई इंटू 60 क्यूब. डायमीटर यहाँ पे mm में है, तो इस 1500 को आप mm में करो. तो 16 इंटू 1500 इंटू 10⁻³ डिवाइडेड बाय पाई इंटू 60 क्यूब, तो आपको आंसर मिलेगा 35.37 मेगा पास्कल, दैट इज न्यूटन पर mm². So option B is right for that. So these are the solutions for question number 1 to 15. So thank you everyone for watching us. Keep watching. We'll meet soon in the next upcoming videos. Thank you very much.